Hey, Mystic, can you tell us if you can hear us okay?
Check 1, check 2, check 3.
Crimson's mic check. Crimson's mic check.
86, right?
So Mystic says loud
Should I
and
mic
clear.
check again?
That should be good.
It is 86. That's correct.
I messed up one on my tweet a while back, and now I'm paranoid I'm going to do it every week again.
All right. So go ahead and we can tweet out.
Man, I made this really... I made what I thought was a very awesome meme for Destiny, and I was going to reply to whoever it was that was looking for it, and I'm scrolling through my timeline, and I just don't even see it.
Yeah,
thought
I
it
was
so
wondering
witty.
who that scrolling noise was, or playing with Kinects or something.
And then I found a couple other ones that I did that forgot I had done. I guess I could just kind of put this on a quick scroll. Do, 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 do. No.
I don't really link many GIFs on Twitter that aren't pre-set there for me. If I just put the link for an Imgur GIF V, Twitter will play it in the post, right?
Or you could just search for it, like using the GIF tool.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I just have the copy and paste link for it here. I just didn't know if that worked or not. I could go into the GIF.
It will probably end up just being a link to that.
Okay.
It might auto play on some places, but it might also just be a link. I can't remember. But like, there's actually a GIF tool as well.
All right, guys, it's 10 o'clock. You all ready?
Hi, I'm ready. Can you hear my fan?
Nope.
Sharks, are you good to go?
Yeah, sure.
Agrios, you're good to go?
Yep.
Gray?
Yep, good to go.
Jez?
Mildly.
Crimson?
Yep.
Let's do it. Everybody tweet out. Everybody mute up. I don't think somebody is muted. Welcome to episode 86 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I'm joined by Crimson Warlock.
What's up, everybody?
Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
Sharks.
Buy your hype train tickets here.
And Gray.
Good night, everyone.
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for listening in on the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1Net. That's G, the number 1, N-E-T. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you want to to send us an email, you can send it to feedback@guardian1.net. If you do a search on bunch.net for Guardian 1, you'll find our forums group, which we also use for both comments and feedback. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As we said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the show live, you can always search for the Guardian 1 podcast on iTunes, as well as the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast, Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at GuardiansOfD and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/GuardiansOfD. Other podcasts that are part of the Guardian Radio Network include previous episodes of TTL Party Chat and Robust Radio. There's also a podcast called Ghost and Echoes, which contains a bit of fan fiction and audio versions of the Grimoire cards found within Destiny. That's it for housekeeping. I'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much, Hollow River. And thank you for everyone who's joined us in the Twitch chat. Mystic Rose, love seeing you there. Maynard James. Also, Punisher Z59, Unilala, always a pleasure. And actually, Unilala, you gave me this idea last week or the week before. You said, your favorite flavor text was to this hand cannon, and I believe it said "You look good in red" or something like this. And I thought, you know what, that is something that I want to discuss on the show. So for everyone listening, next week we will be discussing our favorite flavor text. Also, the next week is our 2-year anniversary of doing this show. The Guardian 1 podcast has been on air for 2 years next week. Actually, it is in like 3 or 4 days. But next week we will be celebrating it. 2 years this has been on. Once I started thinking about that, I started thinking, you know what, at some point this show won't be on. I can't imagine this show going on forever. But when I did the file naming process in WordPress and for things like iTunes, I did leave 3 zeros to begin with. So, we could be doing this for a very, very long time. But yeah, it's exciting. 2 years out. And I just feel like Destiny is just getting started. I feel like Bungie is like there was a point in time before the game launched where there was information on their website or on Destiny, the game, I don't remember, where it gave us information about the moon and it gave us information about the Earth. But then for Venus and Mars, it said waiting on the Vanguard. And I think that that's what we're looking at right now. I think that all of this is just the very basic of beginnings. If you look at where it came from, where Destiny came from year one, it has come so far. And that's not to say that I think the game wasn't ready to launch. I just feel like there's so much more that they want to do. And speaking of that, anybody who played the game Halo Reach, there's a Twitter account, Marcus Leto, who was the co-creator of the Halo universe. He's been tweeting out some concept art pieces that he did, and he showed a clip of, or it was like a rough outline of the progression in Halo Reach, and under this, he said at this point in time, there was a working boat in Halo Reach. Like they had planned on and developed a boat version of Halo Reach, like a boat level in Halo Reach. And that's crazy talk to me. Like thinking about that, I can't believe that it even got past the planning stages, let alone the playable stages. But that says to me that when Bungie dream, they dream big. And I know that when I was introduced to the concept of Destiny, that it was big in my mind. It was big, and I know that that's what they're thinking too. And so we are the vanguard. Anyone listening to this right now, this is just the very beginning of Destiny. This is going to be this sad little larva. That's what we're playing right now. And all of these levels, we've talked about how much cooler would it be for each of the rank in things like Vanguard or Crucible or any of the factions. How much cooler would it be instead of a number, you got like a title? When you ranked up in Halo Reach, you were given a title, some kind of private, and you worked your way up. And I think that might be something on the horizon too. Like my dreaming mind says, they want to see where everybody is going to be. And I know we've talked about this before, but it's exciting. We are the vanguard. Anybody listening to this show right now, we are the vanguard. We were here for Bungie, with Bungie, during this time when they really fleshed out what the main part of the game was going to be. And I think that that's why we saw such little story, is they wanted to fill in as little as possible in the beginning to see where things went. 2 years out, who knows what all they had planned on doing and they wanted to do. I don't know. The future is very exciting. But yes, 2 years out. We are 2 years out. Next week, 2-year anniversary show. Be there. Exciting times. Let's see. Gray, you really just joined us just recently. What do you think about that? What do you think about having joined this show almost 2 years into its run?
It's crazy. I mean, I'm so glad to be a part of it, but it really goes beyond the show. The show is exciting. I love getting on here every week and being able to chat about Destiny and what's going on in the whole world of Destiny and hear your perspectives and everybody here on the panel, their perspectives. But bigger than that, I think for the people that are in our chat and the people that listen to us, not live but offline, thinking about being part of this community and being part of certainly a game, but it's almost bigger than that. It's almost like being part of a special little subculture. And what I love about Guardian 1 is our focus is really trying to help one another out, whether that's in the game or even beyond the game. If we can help each other out as friends in real life, we're happy to do that and happy to help support one another. And that's something that's kind of new to me. I mean, I know I'm a year 2 Destiny player, and you guys kind of, give me a little bit of crap for that, which I'm happy to take, because I certainly missed out. I should have been a year 1 player for how great the game is, but even more so for how great this community is. So I'm glad that I can be on the show and I can help really be in the forefront of what this community is doing to represent itself well for the game that we really enjoy playing.
It's funny that you mention that we kind of rib you about being a year 2 player, and I just want to let you know that it just doesn't stop. It's not ever going to stop. Like in Metallica, when Cliff Burton went his way, and they got Jason Newsted, and they called him Jason Newkid, and the fans called him Jason Newkid, and he was in Metallica forever. Like, he should not have been ribbed at all for that. So
yeah, so I'm just going to say, for all those people that are new to Guardian 1, either as people who just want to support the ideals of what Guardian 1 stands for, or are formal members and people seeking formal membership in Guardian 1, I will take all the flack of being a late joiner into this group, and feel free to be welcomed and come into this group of Guardian 1 members, and just note that I'll take all the heat for people who join the game going into year 3, year 4, and even up to year 9, and you're having to catch up with 10 years of content.
You're such a scrub.
Guardian 1's unique, perspectives that we bring to the podcast and the community and whatnot is some of the other podcasts. This isn't necessarily something bad. I mean, all perspectives are good out there, but you might have a couple of guys who are all super hardcore Destiny players, the top of their game, Crucible players and whatnot.
And I like the fact that our podcast, we have a little bit from every different perspective. We have people that only have a couple hours a week to people who, completely live in the world of Destiny.
Right, to people who don't play it at all.
Yeah.
Jez.
Jez.
What are you talking about?
You know what? I think that's really important, though. I get a lot of emails saying, like, when are you going to get rid of Jez? He doesn't ever play Destiny.
Constant emails.
I'm just joking, Jez. You're the fan
I'm
favorite.
about half of those emails.
Right. No, it's man, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh well. It'll come back to me right in the middle of what Sharks is going to say next. Sharks, you joined us last before that. What do you think about this podcast? Like, when I think back to when you first joined, you were just taking over for River. You were just taking over for River every other week, and then it became clear that you just needed to be part of the show every day, or every week. Every day, really, but every week. How do you feel?
I want to know what I got myself into. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love it. Are you kidding me? This is exactly what I've always wanted, is to be even more part of the community. So yeah, it's awesome. I wish we did show 7 days a week.
Right, we should do a show 7 days a week. Well, it's great to have you here. You are easily the most Destiny of Destiny players, and I appreciate having you here. Agrios, you joined on episode 13, and that was basically right at the very beginning. We were 3 months in or something like this. How has your time here been?
Excellent.
You enjoy hanging out and talking about Destiny?
Yes, very much so. I look forward to doing it every week. I like the format, of our show. I like how we talk about a little bit of everything and anything, and I like how we keep it loose. I like how our comments are all unscripted, spontaneous. What we have to say about it. Like, even when I do the news, I don't pre-write down what I think about any of the things. I simply write down the facts and comment them all at the same time that you guys are. And I really enjoy that we have a big old conversation every week about Destiny and all the different angles we bring to the tables. You guys make me think about things I never would have thought of otherwise. So
that's a really nice thing to say right there, Agrios, and that's what I aim for. That is my bullseye right there, is to talk about things that maybe you didn't know you wanted to talk about, or you didn't know would have been cool to talk about. I appreciate that. Jez, you in the very beginning were very much were very meticulous about planning and playing, and you've fallen off Destiny, and I love your perspective, because at some point it is more than likely that Bungie will do something with Destiny that will bring you back into it. How do you feel being you were on the very first episode that we recorded live, but you were not on the episodes that we did not record live prior to that. How do you feel being here? You still interested?
Well, yeah, first I'd like to say, technically I haven't lost Destiny. It's just kind of on the back burner, because it's like nothing's new, so there's nothing for me to consume from media. So it's not so much that I don't like Destiny right now. It's just, well, I've done it. I don't really need to do it more. It's like loot games only catch me when the loot is unique.
I see what you're saying. And so what game, is there a game that has caught your attention more than Destiny? Like is there something that's kept you more interested for longer?
Recently?
Just overall, like what would you say is the longest you've just been completely sucked into a game?
Probably World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
maybe
and how long?
like 7-8 years.
That's awesome.
But that was also every once in a while taking a break, maybe like a couple months in between. But yeah,
I'm interested to know the answer to the same question, not considering true MMORPGs.
Because I generally burn through like single player games, and most multiplayer games don't hold up. Like PvP games don't hold up in my mind for keeping me involved.
That's why I'm curious about your answer. Like, because if you remove,
I
those games,
I
because I mean,
very
Destiny's
much
not really in competition with World of Warcraft, really, because it's a whole apples and
yeah.
oranges sort of thing. No?
See, I'm very much a consumer in the sense that I find media I like, I play it until I feel like I've completed it, and then it's time to move on. Sometimes I'll jump back into it just to for a nostalgia, or if I miss something that I found out later. But other than that, it's kind of locusty.
I totally understand that. Like there's games that I think are meant as a one off. Not every book you read you will reread. Like what is a good example? Alan Wake. I loved Alan Wake. Like what a great game. But I don't feel like I have to go back and revisit it. I might once like if it becomes free to play, or
See,
it's
the
one of
the
those.
problem is like story based games. You play it through, and you've pretty much seen all the plot twists, and you know what's coming up. There's no tension anymore. You know where the enemies are. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like rewatching a movie. Certain people
Agreed.
can
Unless you
rewatch.
can,
What's that?
I was gonna say agreed. Unless the game is smart enough to offer the option of a completely different character, so you can tackle the same story through a different person's shoes, set of eyes, type thing. But
Right.
yeah, I agree with you
That's
on that. Like the
basically
story-based games, yeah, they're one off.
yeah. Unless it's like I'm trying to think, like maybe even a no, even like the Telltale games that have branching storylines tend to still converge in the same manner. So even they aren't really that uh, diversive for each playthrough.
Like Mass Effect. Mass Effect is something that I would love to play through again and choose the Renegade, because I always choose Paragon. Like I cringe at the Renegade options, I usually don't get very far in the Renegade playthrough just because I don't feel comfortable, saying those things to people who are going to be on my team. Uh, let's see, Crimson Warlock. You've been here from the very beginning. I think we had like 2 months worth of shows that we didn't record. They weren't really shows. I think what they were was more of like, let's get the three of us together, you, me, and River, and let's just talk about Destiny and see where it takes us. Like I wanted to make sure that we weren't going to be boring on air. Like I wanted to make sure that the conversation was it moved and it went in different directions. Like I wanted to make sure that the people that I started this with would give me something to think about, especially in the case where I disagree with what these other people are saying. And so, how do you feel? 2 years next week. Next week is our 2 year show. Go.
So I really think it's kind of an amazing feat to know that we've been doing this for so long. I feel like I've been here since episode -10, and it was a lot of fun those early days. Just having the conversations, and then every time we're ready to end, we're always like, why didn't we record this and put it on YouTube or something?
Yep.
Um, but it's been a fun journey, and Destiny is definitely one of those games where I do feel like I'm in Jez's camp as well. Is like I am much the RPG player, the big story player, and so for me, Destiny right now is definitely another one that's kind of not really appealing because I know the story, and the gear race that Carrot's kind of rotten to me right now to try and get to 35. I just don't feel the big need to, because again, I can do all the content that is in the game right now regardless of being max light level or not.
Well, I think that's
Uh,
that's I mean that's a big point that both you and Jez have made at different points. Like the fact that if you hit 320,
they raised the light level, but they didn't raise the need for light level barely at all. So once you're at 320, you're more than enough to do anything in the game that, anything it can hand you. So
Yes.
I'm really feeling you two guys at this point now. I definitely have been playing other games. My time's been a little bit more limited lately, but I've definitely been playing other games. There's just not that, like, I'm just so much more into that whole, if I'm not doing something interesting with my friends, then I'm not going to bother even turning on Destiny.
Yeah, that's actually why for me right now the go-to game that is another loot kind of game is Diablo 3. That's really what I'm playing right now. I've got a buddy who plays Diablo 3 probably about as much as Sharks plays Destiny. And so when I can play with him, I do, and we have a lot of fun doing that. And it is a game where the loot is much more forthcoming, and the carrot on the stick doesn't really get stale as much because medic rewards and other things. So that does kind of push the draw to achieve all of those every season and get that achievement done. So that's kind of what's pushing me is just characters, and you go through the race again to hit the level cap and then see how many paragon levels you can get and how much gear you can obtain that way. And that's just a lot of fun. And they have goals that you can do every season that give you cosmetic rewards and other things. So that does kind of push the draw to achieve all of those every season and get that achievement done. So that's kind of what's pushing me is just an, a more rewarding loot based game. I do feel like Destiny just for me the last time that I played I got the exact same weapon, an exact same armor slot for both my characters, for both my warlock and my titan after completing Prison of Elders, Challenge of Elders, and then I opened up my Sterling packages for the week, and I got the exact same items I'd gotten the 3 previous weeks before. I got Spectre gloves, Spectre chest, and Spectre boots for my Titan, and I really wanted the helmet. And after doing all those activities and having such a low reward, I was really just put off of the loot race in Destiny. So that's why I'm waiting for something new, and I'm excited for what's in the pipeline.
So one way the MMOs usually get around the lack of needing to get the max level is it's a big boost in MMOs when you're first leveling in like a new expansion. However, they also have like 3 raids, well, usually like 4 or 5 raids in each expansion pack itself. So you're always like, oh, gotta get to the high level for this so I can do the next raid, and then the next raid, and then the next raid. Which
That's probably
Destiny lacks.
right. It's lacking right now. I'm hoping that what they're doing at Destiny headquarters is they're figuring out how they can keep the how they can keep the carrot going for everybody. You know, like everybody who rushes through the content gets to a certain light level, and then that's it. And in the beginning, there was those expansion passes, and we knew that we were getting a certain amount. I hope that they're going back to something like this. I hope that they're going back to some kind of like this is happening. Even if they don't give us a title or any kind of idea of what's going to be in it. Like I want to know what is coming, that something is coming down the road. Crimson Warlock, you brought up 2 really good points. Like you said that you've kind of lost your interest in the loot because it keeps giving you the same thing. And I've hit a different kind of wall. The wall I've hit is that I keep leveling up, and it's cool, but I feel like I've gotten tired of leveling up. Like I'm really all I'm doing is playing the Challenge of Elders, and I don't know, like it just feels kind of grindy. Like I've just done it a bunch of times and I'm not interested in doing it anymore, even though the raising of light level is still there for me. I mean, I did hit 334, and the chances of me getting the slots that I want versus every other slot that I already have 335 is kind of low. It's gotten a little stale. Also, Crimson Warlock, you brought up those shows that we didn't record, and yes, every single time you and River and I got together, I always thought to myself, man, we should have recorded that. We should have just put it up on YouTube. But I wanted to have, the reason that we don't have those, and it would be great to have those because they were great conversations. That was back before we actually knew what was going to be in Destiny. Nobody had played it. Outside of the people who did play it, like the alpha had not happened, beta had not happened. It was back when we were just free to imagine every old thing. Like I still remember a message you sent me, Crimson Warlock, talking about manufacturing weapons and how you were going to produce a certain kind of gear, and I was telling you about how we could brand it. Like there was so much potential, and it just never panned out. Like Destiny is a totally different creature from what we were talking about, but it would be cool to have had recorded it for all of the ages to see. Let's see. I had another thing. Okay. So really quickly, I just want to catch up on light level. So Crimson Warlock, what is your light level? Highest light level?
I think it's 229.
Damn, 229. Jez?
Sorry.
I haven't changed. It's still 321, maybe 320, 322, somewhere around there.
So are you planning on getting your butt in gear? Like, are you waiting for like a signal like, oh, hey, in 3 weeks we're going to have new content, and if you're not 335, you're going to be ass out? Like, are you waiting for that, or?
Kind of not worried.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried either.
Because if it's going to be something major and it's not an update, they're not just upping the light level again. They're going to actually have either leveling or just, I don't know, a reason to play. I don't know. Maybe I'll scramble, maybe I won't, but I'm not that worried yet.
It seems to me like with just doing the couple things you could do the first day of a new expansion, he'll gain those 15 light without even having to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do something.
Or I'll just buy something from the tower.
All right, Remy, mine is 327. That's my highest light.
327. Agrios?
335.
Oh, look at you. And Sharks, you're 335. And where are you, Gray?
335.
Awesome. 335. I am 334. I have a feeling I'm going to be 334 for a while. Okay, let's do our Iron Banner wrap up. Gray, did you get anything good, and did you get to play much?
No and no, so they're related to each other. This week was pretty. It was an awesome week. My dad flew out from Washington State here to Iowa. We drove to Indianapolis. We watched the Indy 500 live with 350,000 other people, but it basically meant that excuse me, I was offline from Destiny for most of the week and didn't actually get to enjoy any Iron Banner.
Was that crazy, not getting to play Destiny for that long?
There was a little bit of withdrawal. You kind of get into this routine of getting used to playing for a couple hours every night. At least that's my routine. And to have that kind of switch so much, it helps when you're going into vacation mode because everything kind of changes as far as your schedule. But yeah, it was kind of a bummer. There's definitely times that we were kicking back at the hotel that I just kind of wished I could plug in and, sit down some fools in the Crucible.
So it's not exactly spectacular, but you can remote play Destiny on an Android device.
Oh, have you done that, Agrios?
Yes, I have it set up, and I actually use it as a second screen at home because at home you can set it up to even work as
you just use your controller with your regular PS4 and just play looking at your phone or whatever.
Not gonna lie, when I went to PAX last year, I used remote play to get my weekly done.
That's cool.
The worst part is, it was so annoying. I just used the weapon I had, and it was goddamn thorn.
So is that unique to PS4 or would it work on X1 as well?
It's PS.
Well, no, it's using PlayStation 4's remote play app. I don't know if Xbox has any sort of equivalent like that.
They have a one that you can run from your computer.
From PC with Windows 10, yeah.
I was going to say, can you do it from Windows phones? Because the way
don't
Does anybody
think-
have Windows phones?
What's that?
That's a
Does
burner.
anyone have a Windows phone?
Oh, I know one dude.
The guy in the
As far as
commercial.
the remote play app,
that does.
have a Windows phone?
Yeah, he's moaning about it all the time because he doesn't have a Destiny app because of it.
Oh.
Sad to be him.
Yeah, so the remote play app isn't designed to work with all Android phones. It's only actually designed to work with Sony Android phones natively. But there is an excellent modder out there by the name of Twisted86, I believe it is. But if I'll try to find a link and stick it in chat comments here. But he has made a mod and distributes it for free, and he keeps it updated with all the apps, and it works seamlessly. And it basically just adapts the remote play portion of Sony's app so that it works with all Android phones.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, get us that link, please. Okay. Sharks, did you get anything cool from Iron Banner?
Yeah, I got lots of 312. Tier 12 gear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because obviously, everybody knows how much I love my Iron Banner gear, and especially if everything is Iron Banner centered for the next DLC, which is obviously we don't know if it is or not, but yeah, I'll look badass rocking my Iron Banner stuff then. But so I've been looking for tier 12 gear for a while, and I'm super picky about my gear. It doesn't matter if it's tier 12 and it some kind of crap I don't like, it just goes straight in the bin. So Iron Banner, I played tons and tons and tons of games, and I got quite a few pieces. I was happy. One character I didn't get as many as I was hoping, but
Did you get the tier 12 class item from the speaker?
the tier 12 class item from
He
the
was selling
speaker-
the roles in the class item this week were a tier 12 apparently.
Oh, really?
Two
No.
tier 12. It was one for a hunter and one for a titan. It was
Yeah,
the hunter
Titan.
stone cloak and the year 1993 mark were both tier 12 rolls.
No, I missed that, but I have tier 12. I have tier 12 class items
Also,
anyways.
While
But-
we're at it, Varix is selling the King's Mark this week. You need to exchange a legendary class engram for it, but that is also a tier 12 Titan Mark. Intellect Strength.
Got it.
So do you guys have, those that are working on the tier 12 builds, do you have builds that let you switch between strength and discipline and still be tier 12 with either stat?
Well, you could. What you need to do to actually achieve that is harder than just getting to tier 12. So when you go on to these sites like Tower Ghost and whatnot, you'll see they get a percent rating. The closer to 100%, the better. You're looking for all your gear to be between 95 and 100% at minimum to work for this. Now, the thing is, the rolls you get that are higher than the minimum necessary, they're going to help make up for the rolls that are lower than the minimum. But if you manage to get all your gear above that sort of minimum, it doesn't matter what gear you'll put on because you'll still maintain the tier 12 status as long as you move your stats around correctly, shifting the boosts and stuff. So there's two ways you can go about it. You can get tier 12 builds, but not all tier 12 builds can just simply be switched around because you might have a really, really spectacular roll on your chest piece, and that makes up for your not so great roll on your boots, but right now it's tier 12. But if you switch that stuff around and take that chest piece off, well, that's no longer making up for the boots, and you're no longer going to be tier 12. But if everything's at least at the minimum to be the tier 12, then you can switch around freely and still maintain a tier 12.
I can't get Tower Ghost to work. He keeps telling me that it's going to use a lot of processing power and it's going to freeze the app, and then it freezes the app, and I can't get it to work. It looks cool. The interface is all right. It's kind of small, clearly made for like a tablet or for people with very small fingers.
Do it on your phone. Do it on your Note.
That's what I'm saying. I can't get it to work on my Note.
It's not compatible with all devices. It won't run on my Linux computer properly, at least not through Firefox. I haven't tried it through Chromium yet, but Tower Ghost is definitely finicky when it comes to what it works with. But DIM has a calculator now as well. And also, if you look at the higher ranking post this week from the Reddit, I'll try to find that and put it in chat too. Someone's made an independent Google Documents spreadsheet that will calculate your stuff for you, and that'll work for anybody. And it uses the same calculations that Tower Ghost and everybody else uses. So I'll try to find that and link it in the chat too if the Tower Ghost isn't actually working for you.
Got it. I would appreciate that. Okay. Sharks, I know that you had some information available. Gray, do you have that image ready? Okay.
Which image is that, Remy?
So Sharks posted an image of his breakdown of his Iron Banner. Why don't I give you guys a minute to transfer that so you can put that up on the screen? Because I wanted Sharks to be able to talk about that for a minute, because I feel like this is something that people should see, something that people should know. Let's see. So Sharks got a bunch of stuff. Cool. Agrios, did you play Iron Banner? Did you get anything good?
I actually didn't log in until about 2 hours before changeover into the day on Monday. So I picked up the bounties on my 3 characters there that night. And then the next day, picked up the new 3 bounties that were there, plus had the weeklies. And I managed to get to rank 5, and rank 4 just on that last day.
Crazy.
I didn't even turn in any. I only turned in my weekly bounties on 1 character. That was the first character that I got up to rank 5. And I had just barely played. Like, I finished my last bounty to make me rank 5 on that one with my 13th game. I had finished all my weekly bounties by the time I finished my 13th game. And then my following 2 characters that I got to rank 5 and rank 4, I didn't even turn in my weekly bounties on at all. I got like to 7 or 8 games on them each before changeover happened. Got 1 to rank 5 and 1 to rank 4. If I'd only actually got overall top score on my hunter in like the final game, I could have turned in that weekly and he would have hit rank 5 too. But I was in second place my final game of the Iron Banner and didn't manage to get him a whole way to rank 5.
Got it.
I'm just not good on my Hunter compared to my Titan and my Warlock. Like, my Titan or my Warlock would destroy my Hunter play in the Crucible. I don't know what it is. I just can't nail it.
That's crazy, because I get mauled when I'm on my Titan. I do pretty good when I'm on my Warlock, but I feel I do my best on my Hunter. Strange.
See, what's funny is I have the most fun on my Warlock, but I do the best on my Titan. Striker Titan. And I clean up with lightning grenades.
Yeah. Jez, did you play any Iron Banner? Did you get anything good?
No, I'm still refusing until the models are interesting to me. Because at that point, it's just fashion for me.
Yeah.
This entire expansion's kind of been kind of garbage in my mind for the looks of things.
Well, it's kind of the same pieces.
Except SRL gear, but you can't even wear half of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And you look like a newbie if you do. Crimson Warlock, did you play any Iron Banner?
I did not. By the time I could actually sit down and devote more than 20 minutes to Iron Banner, it was Monday night. And I was just like, I'm not going to get anywhere. So I did not play Iron Banner at all this time around, which is just like the last time they sold the PlayStation Gauntlet. So hopefully third time's a charm when it finally cycles back through and I can get those.
Got it. yeah, I did not play a single game of Iron Banner this time. Just home life, and I don't know. I wanted those gauntlets, but it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. I didn't play a single game. I don't know what happened.
They weren't great rules anyway. They weren't tier 12 rules. And at this point, like, the only thing there is for me to work on when I do work on Destiny are tier 12 rules. So when I go to the vendor and I see the gauntlets that I'm like, oh, those are neat, and I see that they're not even close to a tier 12 rule, I'm just like, aw, sad.
Yeah. Okay, are we ready on that graphic?
Yep, it's up.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Shark's 3D Man, Iron Banner stats for May of 2016. He played 138 games. Damn it, dude. That's awesome. Okay, so he played 138 games. He won 66 and he lost 72. That's crazy. And you used 138 3 of coins. Now I want to talk about these other stats, but this one is the most interesting to me. The 3 of coins, you used 138 and you got only 19. For that makes a drop rate of 13.7%. I don't feel like this is a good enough drop rate. Sharks, did you feel like you got robbed on this, or is this about the right drop rate, do you feel?
Wait, how many
Well,
did you use?
okay, so I used one per game, 138.
138. Okay.
So based off of that number, if I remember right, it works out to like 1 in 7. You're getting an exotic. I don't know. I feel that that's how 3 of coins are, anyways.
Yep.
So I wasn't really that surprised. It sucks. I mean, this is the thing I really have kind of against the whole 3 of coins system, anyways. You know, if it's going to be, I mean, that's if for some normal person that's out there playing. You know, like my wife, for instance, she's not going to have 138 3 of coins to waste. It's just ridiculous because you have to have quite a bit of strange coins to do that. I mean, I'm swimming and all that stuff, so I figured out let's try it. Let's see what these numbers are, but it didn't really surprise me. No.
Got it.
Okay, so if you think about it, in Vanilla Destiny, how many chances did you have to get an exotic per week? 5 per character, right? Because you had...
I don't know. In
you had
Vanilla
raid-
Destiny, you could just sit there for hours.
Well, in
Yeah,
Vanilla
you can't-
Destiny, you didn't have the chance
That's
to get an
jokes.
exotic at all, usually.
No. Yeah. You didn't.
Right.
You
So
didn't
in
have.
Vanilla Destiny, you could be, the
I was
raid boss
making a
on you
joke
see,
about
raid boss
the-
on hard, the 2 chests in the raid, and Nightfall. So that's 5 per character. So you got 15 total, right?
I think it went right over your head. I was making a joke about the loot cave.
Oh, well, yeah, but you didn't get exotics from that.
Yeah, you could. You
I
get
didn't-
legendary engrams, and legendary engrams could.
Oh, right, yeah, the Cryptar could give you an exotic out of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
except for back then when you got legendary engrams, you got blues.
Yeah, that exactly. During the loot cave days, yeah, you're more likely to get a blue than an exotic.
My
so, yeah.
first day, I got a last word out of purple. So yeah,
That's crazy.
But you figure in the Vanilla Destiny, each account only even had 15 chances to get an exotic each week. So 3 of coins at least opens up the door for the people who have that much more time to dedicate to Destiny to not exhaust all 15 of those chances Tuesday and Wednesday and then have no chance at an exotic till next Tuesday.
No, but that's
I kinda
not
think
true.
they were
That's
trying to
no
do.
way to. No. I'm going to stop you there because you could still get exotics to drop in random spots. They would drop. Now they won't. If you're not eating 3 coins. I mean, I don't know what the actual percentages are as far as this, but I'm pretty positive that if you're not eating 3 coins, you're not going to get those random drops of exotics anymore. You
Exotic
used to.
engrams never dropped in Vanilla Destiny.
yeah. No,
Yes, they did.
no, they didn't.
I don't
No, they
remember
didn't.
them doing it.
There's no such
Instant-
thing as exotic engram till 3 coins were created.
Yeah,
Remember-
exotic engrams did not
Wait,
exist.
I'm not talking about exotic engrams. I'm talking about getting an exotic to drop.
Out of a purple. At the Cryptarch
Yeah, but
was the only way.
You're talking about getting exotics, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's
the only
saying
way
this-
to get that was from the raid boss, the raid chest, the Nightfall,
or getting the Cryptarch to turn a purple into one. In Vanilla Destiny, those were the only ways to get an exotic. And like, oh well, no, there was the bounty quest too for like Pocket Infinity and Thorn and such.
Wasn't
But
Crucible also
Yeah, you
very,
gotta
oh
very...
yeah, Crucible could get random drops, so you could get random drops in the Crucible.
You get them all over the place. You could get. I mean,
No, not
I was.
PvE.
All I'm saying is it doesn't matter if you break it down to the numbers that you're talking. Back when it was random, it was random. I had to force the hand in order to get this, and I could force the hand because I'm still sitting on 1,700 strange coins, so I can buy as many 3 of coins as I want until I'm blue in the face. But a normal person can't do that, so that means that they're not going to get the random choices anymore. And
But they never did during PvE, only in the Crucible. There were no random exotic drops in PvE, so that's what I'm saying. I think
I
the good
want to
point
say that there was just a really low chance in the playlist.
in the strike playlist.
Weren't they random from Nightfalls?
Yeah, but
Yes,
but Nightfalls are finite.
Because I'm counting. There is the Nightfall raid chest, and then boss and raid chest on hard.
I think you could get them from the Vanguard Strike playlist. It was just super, super low chance.
Well, yeah, but same as much as getting it in.
Remember a strike playlist in Vanilla Destiny. Frankly.
Yeah.
Man, Unilala in the chat says she got her first exotic from a purple Red Death. That must have been so exciting. I know that I've gotten exotics from purples, but it's only been since 3 of Coins have been around, so it's not that much exciting. So did you get anything that you really wanted out of these 19 3 of Coin drops, Sharks?
Yeah, I have, let me see. Let me think. 99% of my guns are 335 because of everything that I've been doing.
Totally.
So and like the 1% that are not 335 or 334. I don't have any guns that are under 334 unless I get like a new gun from like say the Vanguard. But I don't have any at this point. I don't have any room for anything because I'm almost all maxed out on all my guns. Gear. I got a lot of 335 and I got some 334 drops too. And I got tier 12 exotic drops, which was pretty cool. So yeah, I got a lot of gear.
Anyone else kind of find it saddening the fact that you're more talking about, oh, I got a gun drop that has this number?
Oh
It's
yeah,
not
no,
it's
no,
not
really
even what it is. It's
yeah,
just
no, you're
twice
right.
the number.
Yeah, because
but
my
for
wife.
sure, he already has an example of every gun in the game, so nothing he's going to get is going to be, oh, this is performs differently from something I got.
Well, a piece of gear could have could have a stat, and you won't have to roll with the glass needles or whatever.
True.
Yeah. Which is I mean, I bought glass needles like 2 months ago, and I still have yet to even try them out. So one of these days, I might actually do that. I get drops all the time, so because I'm popping 3 of coins all the time, but and usually I get something different. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. But yeah, I mean, like at this point in Destiny, I mean, I said this last week. I'm playing because I enjoy playing. I'm not playing for drops, but I mean, there are things that for instance, I didn't have a new shadow price, but I actually got one drop yesterday. So I mean, now I even have a new shadow price. So yeah, it's I just play because I like playing, and I like playing with the people that I play with. So
I want to throw in my 2 cents on Three's a Coin as a year 2 player, and I want to say that I'm actually kind of bummed out about it. Before I had every exotic that I could get as a year 2 player, I remember watching YouTube videos of people getting Galahorn dropping and how excited they were and the feeling that they got by getting this exotic. And I think 3 of Coins has kind of taken that away. People don't get nearly as excited about an exotic drop. The only time that I can really remember getting really excited about an exotic was when I did the Black Spindle side quest and really had to earn that exotic. I was really pumped, especially because it took a good 8 hours of figuring out how to do that to complete it. But with three's a coin and just seeing these exotics drop in like it's nothing has kind of taken that piece out of the game where again it's a looter shooter and this is the top tier of loot and it's not even exciting anymore to get it. It kind of bums me out.
Well, it might also be because there's no gun in the game that is absolutely game breaking. Much like Gjallarhorn.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's got to look so weird to you. You know what though? At some point, it will all look the same. I'm glad that three coins were around because it gave your average every person, especially if it's every 2 times you purchase it. So you spend it's 7 coins for 5 of those things, right? And if you're getting one almost over 10%, so you're looking at getting an exotic for only 14 strange coins. That's not bad. Okay.
Yeah, like
so,
that 1 in 7 that Sharks, that 1 out of 7 that Sharks got, that fits like perfectly in line with the data accumulated by the community for like the Reddit survey that was done when they gathered data from hundreds of players. That's what it came down to. Like the longer stretches that anybody had at any given point, where like 10 to 14 range was the extreme rarity outcropping on there. And then of course there are people that sometimes would get them one after the other, but they all averaged out to right around 6 or 7. And it's no surprise to me that Bungie averaged out the magic exotic drop number to just about 7. I mean,
this is true.
Well, I find it funny that the first strategy for getting things to drop was pop 1, and then if you don't get it, pop 2. If you don't get it, pop 3. And then it was generally by that point you would get an exotic, and they're like, oh, it doesn't work that way. And yet somehow it worked out that way.
Okay, Sharks. So games played 138. You received a reward. Now, you're talking just legendaries, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So out of 138 games, you got 32 legendaries, and out of 138 games, someone else.
Oh yeah, 32. Sorry. Yeah.
And so out of 138 games, 99 times somebody else received something. Now is that multiple people or is that per game somebody got something?
Okay, so that number there is at least one other person in a match received a reward. It could have been one. It could have been all 5 other people that I was playing with.
Got it.
That number there. The reason I did that number is because a lot of people. I have heard in the past people say, oh, they've played 10 games in a row and they didn't see any items drop. And I was like, that seems really, I mean, these numbers that people were throwing out there, I was like, that seems really, really high, in the amount of games that I play. And I swear I see people getting stuff all the time. So I wanted to kind of keep track and see, were there really that many games where nobody is getting rewards? And obviously those numbers that people say are skewed based off of those numbers.
I think these numbers look pretty good. Is there anything you wanted to add to this? I wanna move on.
No, it just shows though. A lot of people, they complain about playing, and basically it just comes to, you go out there and when Iron Banner comes around, play. It doesn't make a difference if you lose. It doesn't make a difference if you win. The percentages are all about the same. You're going to get gear, and so that part alone is going to be fun. But there is one disadvantage to these numbers, and that is that there are people that are going out there and aren't playing. And unfortunately, because it doesn't matter if they win or lose, they're going to get gear. We may see even more and more and more people going AFK. been a problem for a long time, and whatever Bungie is doing with their AFKers, they're not doing enough. And I know people would say, well, but if you're AFK, you're going to get kicked from a game. Well, the AFKers are a lot smarter than that. They'll have their controller there. They'll tap the controller, because I've seen that. I've literally seen people, it's like, just move just a bit. So that means that they're doing something and they're not going to get kicked. So I mean that's the unfortunate part of having this high percentage drop rate happening in Iron Banner. But if you don't mind that, just go out there and play. You're going to get something.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. AFKers piss me off.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because there's been more posts on Reddit about that lately, and it seems to be on the rise. And I don't know that if it's necessarily more people doing it because they're becoming bored with the game, or if simply the dedicated player community of like good people are, diversifying their time and becoming involved in other games, thus increasing the leftover troll content. It is fairly cheap to get into the game of Destiny at this point. And the cheaper or more accessible a game is in that regard, the higher the percentage of trolls tend to be. There's been a number of posts this week about the Strike playlist as well. People having to deal with AFKers or people outright trying to kill them or get them killed with their sparrows or through other means. I know Sharks, I believe, was telling me about how he had, or I think it was Sharks, maybe it was you, Remy, was telling me about how he had to go into last PoE. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and share that story since we're talking about this?
Yeah, no, it's just stupid. Somebody sitting there shooting me the whole time in PoE just obviously for kicks. That in reality, that's almost worse than an AFK. Or if an AFK is there, they're just not going to do anything. But this person's, just out there just to annoy the crap out of you, and it's just as bad,
But like people like in the Valis Arc Strike, like using their Sparrow to push people out into the tank, and so they get instantly killed, and then not teabagging them and not reviving them, or in the Strike where you have to get the little orbs to put in the door lock, just taking one of the orbs and running around in the corner with it nonstop, like rubber banding their controller to run in a circle in the corner, stuff like that. So
yeah,
I don't know how Bungie can address this, but you can't go in and solo strikes. So without that option, this becomes a problem. Like, what's a Guardian to do? One of the things on the Reddit this week was about a Guardian who just couldn't get through a strike.
I think we lost Agrios.
They can't choose to go solo with these strikes. So what can Bungie do about this? This is becoming a larger problem.
Well, I don't know about the strikes, but at least for the Crucible, if they introduced ranked playlists, that would cut down on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Are we done? We're done. Moving on. Right? Anybody else have anything they want to add to that? Excellent. Did I lose everybody? I see that I've lost Agrios.
No, I'm here. No, let's do it. Let's go on. Let's talk about the hype.
I was gonna let him just keep pretending like no one's here.
No, come on, let's do a proper podcast. Let's talk about the hype. Yeah.
So really quickly, a couple of public service announcements. A couple of weeks ago, I announced that the person in our chat right now, Maynard James, 1982, was in fact the lead singer of Tool, and I've received emails like saying to me, like, look, I just don't believe it. I just don't believe that this person is the singer of Tool. And I'm here to tell you, he sure as shit is. Maynard James is the singer of Tool. And he was telling me the other day that he really enjoys receiving emails from everybody in the group and everyone listening. What he really wants is for you to send him song ideas. And if you could just, hook up your microphone and just sing it right into the microphone, like do. I was thinking something like this, Maynard, and I think that would be great. So everybody out there, send him a big what's up. No, seriously though, it's not. He is not, as far as I know. And I'll tell you what, if I did find out that was really Maynard, and I mean, why would he name his account Maynard James like that? That just seems ridiculous. He just said OMG in the chat right now. I would not tell a single soul because I wouldn't want to out him. I wouldn't want him receiving messages, or
Instead, now you screwed him over, and he's going to get spammed by everybody. Great, Remy.
only for the people who stopped listening at that point. So that's not really the lead singer of Tool. Although if you talk with him, he does have the same kind of timbre to his voice. So who knows? Who knows? I love Tool, and I love Maynard James, 1982. He says that Maynard graduated the year that he has listed in his name, 1982. So. Anyways, so okay, we have that. I wanted to discuss I received a text message. I received a Twitter message from Nerdy Girl, and she was asking what I thought about killing people after the game has ended. And so we had a conversation on Twitter about this, but then she wrote me an email, and I want to read that email now because it kind of fleshes out the story a little bit more, and then I want to get your guys' take on this. Okay, so she says, "Hey Remy, parentheses, sorry this turned out being longer than I expected. It's okay. I'm long-winded. I enjoy when people put, so much of their time and effort into things like this. It means that I know that you've really been thinking about this, and I appreciate it. This is Nerdy Girl from Twitter. First, I do want to apologize because I reached out to you on Twitter and didn't follow the directions to email that you have clearly put in the 80-plus podcasts that I have listened to, smiley face. But I do appreciate the conversation on the bonus kills at the end of PvP matches that was sparked around my tweet. This has been something that was bothering me, and I just happened to be listening to the G1 podcast while doing IB, and it was an impulse tweet. I understand some of the perspectives a bit better now, but I have to say, win or lose, that one death after the match is over pisses me off far more than the 10 I may have endured during the match because it seems pointless. The ones during a match are learning experiences. How can I get better? The end of the match just seems dirty. What happened to good sportsmanship? Shaking hands when the game is over. This feels like throwing in one last cheap shot. How is this okay, but teabagging is not. It's not. I'm not criticizing here. I'm really just curious. Is it all because we're trying to get the bounties done, or Bungie allows it? So it's all good. Go ahead. For perspective, I am a year 2 guardian. I started about a month before the Taken King when a girl I work with told me about the game. I actually went out and bought a PS4 just to try out this game. This is the first system game I have bought for myself in over 15 to 20 years. I played video games when I was much younger. My mom actually bought us the original Pong and very selectively played games through multiple systems until I just stopped and basically missed all of the online evolution for consoles. Never played a first-person shooter, MMO, split-screen, multiplayer, or any PvP stuff like Halo, COD, etc. As an adult, I just dabbled in God of War and Uncharted games with my fiancé, so I don't know what it was that she said that convinced me to buy my own system, but I guess it is a case of the right thing at the right time. I honestly just figured if I didn't like the game, I would find something else I would like or resell the console. Lol. Since Taken King, I have actually bought a couple of other games and only took Destiny out of my console once since last August and put it back in after 2 hours because I decided I'd rather play Destiny than the other game. Destiny has been a slow evolution for me, and much of my time has been solo in patrol, getting stuck at 297 until the April update, sticking to PvP for now. I didn't touch this game mode until the IB right after the April update, Clash, unless my friend dragged me along on something she was doing. I was afraid of it mostly because I thought it was something I would never be good at. and based on all of the bad experiences I had heard about in other PvP-based games, right after that IB was Mayhem Clash for the Weekly. That sucked me in. Stormcaller Warlock, hello. Between the first and second IB after the April update, I have picked up my bounties, finished most of the early PvP quest lines on just my main that have basically been ignored for the last 8 months, picked up my Dead Orbic exotic class item, and leveled Crucible reputation to 15. This IB, I was determined to level all 3 of my characters, which I did. I have been pleasantly surprised, for the most part, about the PvP in Destiny. My performance isn't as crappy as I thought it would be, and people haven't been disrespectful in the ways that I feared. It has just come back to that question. Seriously, are you going to kill me when the game is over? By the way, over the last 8 months, I have basically consumed 3 years worth of Guardian Radio and Guardian 1 podcasts. I really enjoy listening to you guys. Thanks for the time. Trudy, aka Nerdy Girl. Okay, so thank you very much for writing this in. And you know what? I don't mind the conversation on Twitter. It kind of just opened it up to everybody, everybody who happened along. And so for me, and I've got an evolved thought on this. For me, I think to myself, killing after the game over it's just rude. Like you can tell that a person devalues you, that the person is looking at you as just a number on their punch card when they do that. And I don't know, I read so many responses, and a lot of people were talking about, it was, it's just part of a bounty, you can get it done and that's cool. And actually River, who I asked to write an email for his answer because I thought he was going to have a way thoughtful answer, he said his whole answer is he kills people after the bell has rung in Iron Banner so he can complete his bounties. That was it. He offered no additional information whatsoever, and I expected him to come up with something a little bit deeper than that. But there you have it. So for me, I think it is super rude, and I try not to do it. I say I try not to do it because I feel like for only some people, the game has ended when it says game over or whatever it says. And so I've been in a situation where I've been shooting somebody and they've not been shooting me back. And so I stop myself from shooting and see what this person does. Like those are the most rewarding interactions that I find that aren't me dominating somebody or me getting out of being dominated. It's when it becomes more than just this game. The game has ended and there's no reason to shoot each other anymore. Crimson Warlock, what do you think about shooting people after the game over?
The crying baby. I wish it wasn't in the game. I do feel like it's total cheap shots to take at people. Granted, I do sometimes let loose my super as a warlock because the match ends. But yeah, I do it more in Iron Banner than normal for my bounty completions. I mean, if you unleash a super as the match is ending, it's one of the easiest ways to get double kills in a lot of ways. But at the same time, like I really do think it's odd that you're given 3-4 seconds to get another kill that doesn't show up on the scoreboard but still counts. So it is kind of weird. I actually, it's kind of funny. There was one game that we would have won if they'd counted the kills I got at the end of the match, because I got 4 kills with my super at the very end of the match, but we still lost it. But it counted for my KD. But all in all, I think it's a bad habit that they really shouldn't carry over in the next Destiny game, in my opinion.
When initially when she asked this on Twitter, my response was that, well, I mean, Bungie left it in. Like there's a lot to be said about how Bungie picks and chooses the things that it allows and it forbids. A prime example is when they stopped you from being able to hide under that platform in Winter's Run Strike. Like that's something that they definitively did not want you to do. And so they took action to make sure that you didn't do that anymore. This represents the idea that, here it is. You are allowed to kill people after this game over for some amount of seconds. And for the most part, I just try and disengage. I don't want to kill people after that timer. And additionally, I don't want people to kill me after that timer. There was a match that I played that there was just these three guys that were just hunting for me really bad, and I busted out the most amazing Crucible plays I've ever done, and I just took them out so many times, and I was hiding behind one of those crates in damn, I wish I could remember what it was now. But at the end of the game, like, I knew they were rushing me to kill me, and so I started to run out this other direction. And one of those guys was just sitting out there, out this doorway, waiting to snipe me, and he sure shit did. Like, it pisses me off. It pisses me off that it's just this additional non-needed bit of aggression that they wish to show me. They wish to say to me, "Hey, I've killed you." Ha ha ha, or whatever, and it just bothers me. It bothers me so bad. So I'm not saying that I don't kill people after the match has rung. Like sometimes sometimes you have to. Sometimes they are running at you and they're gunning at you, and it's just, I usually have a super by the end of the game. I'm usually sitting on one, just waiting for the right time. And I don't know. It's just a bummer. It's just a bummer. It's an aggression against me that I don't appreciate. So I usually just try and disengage. I don't want to give them that satisfaction. You're not going to kill me. Jez, what do you think about killing people after the bell?
So I'll preface with saying I'm a very perfect person, and I'm also a hypocrite. So yeah, as a girl named Wendy in the chat said, she loves to kill people after the end because it's still going. The match is still going, kinda. It's not for points, but it's still part of playing the game. Like, for that couple seconds there, you're just gonna stop playing the game, type of thing.
And dance.
I do it.
Yes.
Yeah, I do it because because of that bounty, which is the stupidest bounty that should probably not exist. And B, because chances are they're going to be killing me anyways. So why not just keep playing until the next match? If you're gonna play, just play. It's not like someone calls halftime and someone gets sacked.
I see what you're saying, and I could see that would be why they left it in. Like, it is not the same thing as that.
No, I do hate it when I get killed at the end of a match and I'm like, shit, I was like 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Agrios, what do you think about all this?
So I think that the game stops you from moving when it wants you to stop playing. I think that, like, they still track the bounties. You're still playing the game. That buzzer is just a signal point, just like anything else in the game. Like, telling you that, somebody took control A or control B. That's just saying, hey, we're not counting any more kills at this point. But you're still playing a game. It's still counting toward your bounties. If you stand there and dance and someone kills you, you lose your 10-kill streak. It's just the same as if you kill 2 more people, you add to your 10-kill streak. So I play until I can't move anymore. Unless there is just nobody around me for me to even bother chasing on my radar, then I just frighten everybody.
So do you, if somebody is dancing at you from the other team, you just kill them?
If I need bounties.
Interesting.
Have you ever had probably the worst offender that probably should be more worried about is when like everything stops and you're stuck, and then some fucking titan comes flying in with this fist of havoc and kills you after you stop moving. That is the worst.
You know what I was going to say?
Well, they've jumped in the air and launched it, and you freeze moving. But since they've already jumped in there and launched and they're flying across the screen, they just keep progressing.
I was going to say that's one of my favorite kills. Is I've thrown a grenade and they're frozen and they're in my grenade, and it's like it's already gone to blur, and then you hear that. That's funny. Sharks, what do you think about killing people after the game has ended, but has not physically stopped you from moving?
Okay, so first off, this is my kind of gamer. Destiny should never come out of your PlayStation. So send me a friend request and message me who you are so I know who you are. Secondly, as far as do I agree with it or not, this is something that has been in Destiny since Vanilla Destiny. So you're either one of those people to go out and kill people after the bell rings, or you don't. I personally do get into matches sometimes where I'm in a gun battle, literally until we're not moving anymore. But if it's ended and I'm not physically shooting somebody, I'm probably not going to shoot. I'm not going to go out of my way and shoot somebody. I'm not going to pull out my sniper and blow you away. I'm not going to do my super on you because there is no point. The whole point in getting all those kills during the match is at this point in the game, because they don't have the 10 kill streak anymore, is just for the score at the end. Now, I have killed people at the end of games, but I've killed them because they've either gone and teabagged or being whatever you want to call them, people to some of my team members, and I've seen them do it, or they've gone and they've just supered somebody for no reason, and I'm like, oh, I can get my super off, boom, I feel better now. But like Agrio said, Bungie put this into Destiny for a reason. I think the reason that they put doing stuff after the bell per se is so that you can wave to somebody or bow, or in this case, all the different emotes that we have. They may not have necessarily been thinking about the gun battles and the supers people doing, but I mean, at the same time, that's the same thing. That's the same thing as sitting there, doing all these emotes to somebody. It's just a way to stick it to you and say, screw you. I'm not that kind of player, but I can see it being out there. And it does frustrate me sometimes, but that's why people do it,
Now, on that note, and when I first started playing Destiny, I just danced when the thing ended. But then when I found out that your bounties continued or were affected, at that point's when that practice stopped for me.
So if they didn't want this to ever be a thing that developed in the community, they could have just made it so your bounties and it stopped accumulating at the buzzer.
Yeah, but
I think for a lot of people, that's the real.
But there's hardly any bounties that do that anymore. To be quite honest, I can't even think of any bounties that do that anymore.
No, if you just get a kill, it counts. Like if you need auto rifle kills or whatever, it counts.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, auto rifle kills and stuff that does count too.
You get a kill for anything, for any bounty in the Crucible, to charge a weapon, for anything. The kill counts.
You know what? If somebody really really needs a kill that bad, come and look for me, because after a match is done, a lot of the times I'll either dance or I'll sit right down.
For me, it's not a need that bad. It's a time is valuable sort of situation. If I play a dozen Crucible matches and I kill one person after each match buzzer ends, that's one whole match I don't have to play to get those 12 kills.
Okay, so I think that the reason that it was left in, I think that they definitely left killing in people after the game was over so that there could be a resolution. It's not going to be just clean. It's not going to be, game over and you will not have been engaging somebody. You could be engaging somebody to the last second. And I think that, it's like 5 seconds or 3 seconds or something like this. I think that once it hits game over, there's still the opportunity to resolve whatever interaction that you were with right that second. And I think that that's what that's for. I think that what happened. Huh?
What if at the end of the match, instead of it just cutting to black, it was an elimination?
That would be excellent. That would be excellent. It would be really even crazier if it was like elimination of all. Like if it went from a team sport to to an all-out craziness. Yeah, that would be crazy.
If you didn't say team sport, it'd be like sudden death, though. Now nobody can respawn. This is the no more respawn buzzer instead of the end of match buzzer.
Well, we in math class we play Trader in Terrace Town, which is basically like a mod to Gary's mod that lets you where one person is a traitor and everyone else is looking for the traitor and everyone's suspecting everyone. However, at the end of the match, when the traitor is all gone or the traitor won, everyone just starts killing everyone.
Yeah,
That's
that
awesome.
mechanic kind of reminds me of the end of a Titanfall round. Did you guys ever play Titanfall?
Yes.
Yeah.
have not.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they kind of
Your
have an
will
end
is
game mechanic after the round is done, which is more just for fun than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
where win or lose, one team or the losing team has to get to their ship and the other team has to eliminate them.
Right.
I'm glad that Destiny doesn't have something like that, because that was one of the worst feelings playing Titanfall. Like, especially if the other team was clearly good, I feel like in the first 3 minutes of a match, you know who's going to win. No, this is not universally true. Like I've played many games where our team has been down for 75% of the match and only came back in any fashion in the last 25%. But I feel like at least no less than 50% of the matches that go to the very first person to get higher score stays there, because it's representative. Like, this team completely wiped out this other team. What are the chances that other team is going to pull their head out of their ass and take down this clearly better team? And so that in Titanfall exacerbated it, in that we just got our asses kicked, and now they're going to destroy our dropship or kill us on the way to getting to it. Like, that sucks.
There's something else that I just kind of thought of that I almost wonder if this was going through Bungie's mind when they allowed stuff like this, and that's that it kind of gets people going. I mean, obviously it does, or we wouldn't be hearing about it. It upsets people, and maybe it upsets them enough to say, "Oh man, I hope I go up against those people again, and I'm gonna, stick it to them this game." It's just another way of getting a reaction from the player base when they're playing.
Yeah, I could see that. Gray, what do you think? Killing people after the bell, it says game over. Somebody's won, somebody's lost. Are you sore loser? You go around and you just pick off the people that just beat you, or what?
I'm a little like Jez, a little bit of a hypocrite, but at least I'm in good company, because as I read through the chat, it seems like everybody hates getting killed, but everybody takes a little bit of guilty pleasure of getting a cheap shot at the end of the round. And I think that's probably fairly true with most of our community. I would view it more like somebody who's taking a cheap shot after the bell's gone off in maybe a boxing match. And if you watch boxing, the bell goes off and somebody can still take a swing, and both boxers aren't going to put down their defense right when that bell goes off. They keep it up until somebody starts walking back to their corner.
Yeah.
I think it's a little rude. I don't know that I'd go as far as saying it's disrespectful. I think teabagging is very disrespectful. I think that the real world connotation of what teabagging is definitely is a lot more disrespectful than continuing on a mechanic and an activity that you've been doing for the entire match. This is not something that's outside of the game, like teabagging is something that you're bringing into the game that's doesn't really exist there on its own. So I do it from time to time. I don't really do it for the bounties. Sometimes I do it just because it's a little bit of a challenge. Can I finish off this encounter in the 3 seconds before this match is over? As I know that my screen is starting to blur because it's loading up the scores, can I get that last kill in or not? And it brings up almost like a different challenge into the game than what the standard Crucible killing mechanic would be. So I lean on the side that I don't really mind it, and if I'm just playing for fun and I'm not really going try hard, and I set down my controller and somebody kills me after the bell's gone, it doesn't really bother me. And I think that's what we've kind of seen here with our group and probably in the community. If it doesn't bother you to be killed, you're probably more likely to kill people after that bell's gone off. If it does bother you, you're less likely to do it, but you probably still have done it from time to time.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Lawn Boy says, yeah, but they penalize that in boxing. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Like if you received a tick against yourself for killing somebody after the bell, that would be a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah, but then
Very.
you'd have the whole thing where somebody, launched their Nova Bomb, and then it goes, meh, and then their Nova Bomb smashes into a team of 6 and kills them all, and they're like, oh, no! And they were trying, because then you'd have people, not doing good at the end of the game because they're afraid of getting ticks.
That'd be
Man,
amazing.
That would be amazing. I have to agree. Okay. All right. Anything else on this before we move on? I wanted to find the tweet, but I can't seem to find the tweet. I wanted to read some of the other answers. Let's see.
Well, we're talking about teabagging there for a minute. I think I don't know. I'm gonna pose my opinion about teabagging here, and this might not line up with everyone else's or whatever. But I feel like when there's a game with emotes, first off, that teabagging takes a lower class position, because why not use an emote that can convey what you're trying to say better? But aside from that, what really annoys me more than teabagging actually is more like unwarranted teabagging. When someone goes around teabagging everybody, or it's just normal kill and they teabag you, I find that kind of like pathetic. Like, you didn't earn that teabag. But like, if I have like a one-on-one battle and we're going around and it's like an intense battle and they end up finally taking me down and they come over and teabag, I'm not even like I'm not even offended in that situation. I'm like, ha, you won. Props to you. You earned that teabag. So like that teabag doesn't really bother me, but it's the unwarranted teabagging that really bothers me.
I'm glad you brought this up, because so many people in the community hate teabagging, but they love emotes. It's the same damn thing. It's just somebody showing off.
I disagree,
yeah.
Sharks, because I think that the connotation. I think there's a reason why Bungie hasn't put together a teabagging
teabag emote.
No, but the thing is why did teabagging come into effect? Teabagging came into effect because there was no other way for people playing Halo, because it started with Halo, for people playing Halo to give any kind of expression to the other team. This way they could. And Bungie, when they made Destiny, they knew damn well that people were going to teabag, because they made that type of thing. Yeah, I mean, the whole thought around teabagging is not really it's not really a friendly thing to do to people. But as far as doing that, or going up and doing some of these emotes that are out there, I don't see a difference.
Okay,
and
so
for
no, go on.
Okay, cool. Well, I was just gonna say is like I'm in the same boat as Agrios. You know what? If I've played a match and I've died 20 times from the same guy, and he's come over at the end of the match and he teabags me, good on him, because you kicked my ass. Now, if I play a match, which I have done this, and I've seen this is what pisses me off, is some little snot that has died from me 10 times. He's got 1 kill, and then he comes around the corner, he kills me, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna teabag you," or he literally does it to everybody he kills. I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's lame. And you need to be shot in the face, when I see you next. But yeah, I mean, teabagging itself, it like any emotes, I don't see what the big deal about it.
Okay, so Six Trez in the chat says, "I'll drop kick a bagger," and that makes me smile, because I think that I see what you're saying, Sharks. I see what you're saying as far as it's the same thing. It is you are sending a message to the person without using words. But I feel like because there's so many emotes that you could choose to have, and some of them might even be worse. There's the one where they run the finger across their neck. Like I think that's ruder than teabagging. But teabagging is like, I don't remember who said it right now, but it is a lower tier of communication situation, and I swear to you, the only people that I get teabagged from the most often are the ones that don't deserve to be teabagging, like you're saying, Sharks. The ones that I kill over and over and over, and then they kill me once. They kill me once, and they think that this is how this works. This is not how this works. But yeah, I feel like there's just so many better ways of interacting. I really like yours, Sharks. You disagree, and I find people using that in the community, and I think that that's a really powerful one. I think that's a really powerful one, especially if you use it like right after you've killed somebody. You disagree. I think that that's really funny. I think there's a lot to that.
I wonder if there's anyone that like avoids teabagging sun singers.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know. I don't know if they have the brain power for that.
It's like teabag. Vroom.
You'd almost think it would be not a bad strategy. I don't know if you guys follow Destiny Fun Police, but he always says that he thinks that the rude taunt should be an exotic, should cost an exotic slot, because people get so mad that they go into his bubble, and then you're not going to win an engagement inside a Titan bubble. So similarly, you could do that teabag or a rude taunt on the Sunsinger, trying to bait them to pop their super.
Yeah, but that guy's so good, it wouldn't matter what he did. He could sit there and dance, and people would get pissed off at him because he just wrecks people all the time.
True. Very true.
Jez, what do you think about teabagging?
In general, it's kind of stupid because it's basically saying, "Oh, I dominated you," and generally they're not dominating you.
Right.
I think I've kind of lived with it, and it's kind of funny that it originated in basically a couch multiplayer setting.
Right.
Because Halo 1 was basically you on your couch or up to so many people in the same room with LAN connected.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering from the whole group is, do you notice that you get teabagged more when playing against crappy people? Because when I go in up against higher tier players, I see a lot less of it happening. I think people have a lot more respect as far as teabagging goes.
I think that for me, it's a pie section that runs through the whole thing. Like, I think that 10% of really super great players teabag. Just because they're great players doesn't mean that they have any kind of honor or that they are interested in the fact that these other people they're playing with are other people. Like, they're people out in the world, and I think that just runs straight through. Like, I don't know that skill is necessarily dependent on being a piece of crap. Like I think that there's crappy piece of crap players and there's crappy really good players. Like I just try not to die to anyone, and then I don't have to worry about that. Crimson Warlock, teabagging. Are you a teabagger?
Never been a fan of it because it's just a game. Why do we have to be rude to people and give out rude gestures? Let's just have fun.
Lawn Boy says that he finds it funny when people teabag him. It means that he's doing well. And you know what? That's actually something. That actually goes right along with what you're saying, Sharks. Like, the people who don't deserve it are the ones doing it. It means that he's doing a good job. Maynard says it didn't bother him much in the 360 days. For some reason, it bothers him much more in Destiny. 360 days, maybe just because he's grown up and beyond that. Or maybe I just take Destiny too serious. I take Destiny pretty seriously too. I love Destiny. I want the interactions. I want the interactions where we stop shooting at the buzzer and we dance. There was a video. Prime Guard put out a video way early on of everybody on the team, on both teams, hanging out. And that seemed so exotic to me. That seemed so rare. Like they got to just hang out on these maps and look around and discuss, what their next moves were. Like that seems so cool to me. And so like the idea of and actually Sharks, you guys met some people in the community while looking for that Bungie bounty. You guys were looking for the Bungie bounty. You realized that it wasn't you guys, and so you just sat there and you hung out with this other team. Like that is a great interaction. That is a great interaction. I will stop shooting people who have stopped shooting me. Like when I realize that they're no longer shooting me, I will stop shooting them because I want to see what they're doing. I had every single person on my team drop out, and 3 of the people on the other team just sat down. And so I walked over to them and sat down with them. Unfortunately, they weren't all in a group, and so I kept getting killed by these people who wouldn't just also hang out. Like, it's clear that I, as one person, am not going to beat them, especially when we just hit heavy ammo round. And so it was cool that those people were just going to pass the time with me. Let's just sit down and have a good time. The timer will run out. We're already winning. We don't need to kill you anymore. You know?
Yeah, you get it. You get it quite a bit here and there. I mean, different. Well, I should say when certain things happen. In fact, during this last Iron Banner, when I was playing with a group, we had I can't remember. I think we either had a group of 4 or 5, because I remember we had at least one blueberry on our team, and the second we landed, everybody was like, "Up, screw this," and they left. And there was one person, and we're like, "There's just one." We didn't realize at first. We're like, "We can't find anybody. Why can't we find?" Only a couple of us were getting kills, and we checked, and the whole team had left. So we decided to go over and just dance with that person and wait. And that person danced back, and then somebody popped in, and another person popped in, and we still kept dancing. And then eventually, when we got a full team, we started. But I mean, it's nice. It's nice to do things like that, because it shows how close this community is, as opposed to just chasing down one person, unless they're down for trying to do one on 6 or whatever. But the other thing is that you meet people that way. You get friends that way. So, yeah.
Okay, so Zox says, because that is the internet, and really, every time I hear somebody, has been bullied on Twitter, or there's people that just, rape threats and violence and just shitty things being said to these people, I think that because that is the internet. That is the internet. Like, we are, you are unable to filter out all of the dregs of society, and I mean, you can't let it get to you. There's steps that you can take, like calling the police. There's, death threats are not legal. You can't tell somebody that you're going to kill them and not expect something to happen bad to you. Even if you're just being looked into, like it's shitty and it's horrible and it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen to anyone. But it's the internet, and it's not an excuse. That's just who it is. It's not like there's a personality test given out to everybody who plays Destiny, like, oh, okay, well, are you honorable? Are you going to kill people after the bell? Are you going to teabag them if you kill them? Like, there is no this. It's just open. It's just open to every single person in the world, and every single person in the world is not awesome. Every single person in the world is not awesome. Not even close to every single person in the world. But yeah, it's Mystic Rose says, "Thank you, Remy. It's not a good reason to excuse bad behavior." Yeah. There is no excuse for bad behavior, but it is there. Like, the fact is that it's there. It's like, I don't like sharks. I don't want to be eaten by a shark, but they're there. Like, I can't stop sharks from being there. I can, however, remove myself from the ocean so that I don't get eaten by sharks. I don't know.
And just so you all know, he's talking about real sharks and not me.
Yeah, I'm sure Sharks is sitting there like, what did I do to Remy?
I know. At first, I was like, what?
I thought it was intentional.
Like, just this week, a Kotaku reporter was reporting on a delay in No Man's Sky, and the entire subreddit for No Man's Sky is basically like, oh, stupid Kotaku, they never get anything right. And they were like sending letters and death threats to the article writer, and then when it was confirmed that it was actually delayed, there was death threats to the developer of the game. Even it's
Well, not only
people
that, but
have
there were people like issuing these threats that are dumb enough to like somehow blame the Kotaku writer, like he was somehow
Yeah.
responsible for the delay.
Right,
somehow
that's ridiculous.
even the person that was the mod of the subreddit was writing up a report, and he wrote it in such a way that it seemed like, because of the Kotaku article, the game is delayed even further than Sean Murray thought. It's like, no, it's not entirely it. It's just a big, huge mess of stupidity on the internet, and that's
Right. The next ring is stupid too. The next ring is stupid too. Is the people who are giving the creator death threats, like as if he wanted to, as if he purposefully made the game late. Like that is another layer of just stupid.
You know, I want to say this right now to all the game developers who may be listening or looking at this situation or anything like this. For the love of God, please delay your game. Delay it. Make it better. Make it more awesome, and I will like it better when I play it, and people will bitch about it less and give less death threats after the fact when it's a better game. So for the love of God, please delay your games.
Right.
Yeah, can you guys all imagine if Destiny had been delayed one more year?
And was
much
it
better
a
it would have been?
next-gen exclusive, the PS4, Xbox One only? Oh, that would be a dream.
It would have been
I would
awesome.
love to say what it does.
It would have
Yeah, it
sucked.
would have been
It
a
would have
year
sucked the
later.
first year, but it would have been awesome.
It's gonna suck because we wouldn't have known what we were missing, yet. So,
Right.
So Remy, I want to expound just a little bit on your analogy there about the ocean and sharks. One thing that I have taken note of in the Destiny community, there's still sharks in the ocean, but there's not as many sharks as what I see in certain other gaming communities, like
Absolutely.
Dota or something like that.
Yeah, or Call
So-
of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. And just thinking about if you're going to swim in an ocean, if you want to enjoy this game, knowing that there's the risk that there's going to be sharks present, Destiny's a fairly safe environment, especially when you compare it to some of the other gaming communities out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you guys realize that the reason for that is that I only play Destiny, right?
You're good. You're a good guy, Sharks. But yeah, you're totally right. Like everything about the Destiny community is head and shoulders above anything I've seen in any other community, and that's including Halo. Halo had a way more duds in it than does Destiny, and I think that it has to do with a lot the way Bungie's handling it. You know, like they're not. This is not a game for people who really want to grief. You know, like it's not. They've taken steps that beyond some bad calls for spawn points. They've taken steps where griefing is just not something that is rewarded. You know, so I don't know. I think we got to move on though. Anything anyone else want to say about this? Good. All right. So we got 15 minutes to go over this week at Bungie. Agrios, what have you got for us?
All right. Well, fortunately for us, it's a pretty light news.
Wait, I want to say thank you, Nerdy Girl, for sparking that conversation. It was a good question. I totally see what you're saying, and you know, it looks like the people on this panel are pretty okay guys. You know, like I just this afternoon or maybe it was yesterday after we were talking about this, I went and played some Crucible matches, and I just watched the way I felt about after the game went over, and there's just, you know, sometimes it's way more kinetic. People are still approaching you. People are still engaging you. You know, they haven't stopped firing, and so therefore it's really easy. Like I felt really good about killing them after the game over. So it's a lot more fluid, but I feel like what you're talking about is that you haven't been engaged until after the game over, and they're hunting for just additional kills, which I think sucks. All right, Agrios, sorry about that. Thank you, Nerdy Girl.
All right. So just as a note, I will hunt you down after the timer.
And you will be killed, summarily dispatched. You hear that, Bungie? We need private rooms. Like I want to play versus these people. You know, the most fun I've had in Destiny is killing K-Dub over and over in this one time. You know, he couldn't get away from me. He couldn't get away from me, and I don't know how that happened. Like, it must have been luck on my part, because he's always posting himself poning other Guardians. But I want to fight sharks. I want
We're
to
still
fight
digressing.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
All right, so this week at Bungie, we didn't have a stream this week, but they're going to make up for it next week on Thursday, June 9th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. We were going to have a Destiny reveal stream. You're invited to learn all about the next threat that you'll confront as Guardians. That's all they shared with us. I mean, we got to figure this is going to be about the recent leak, the rise of Iron, that has been, all but certified as accurate. We'll find out, how true this is and what we actually have forward to looking at here. Does anybody else have any other speculation they'd like to offer? Because before we move on, there's something that occurred to me about this. It seems like, it's going to be somehow PvP oriented with the whole Rise of Iron, the Iron Lords and whatnot, if the leak is in fact accurate. Do you think that we're going to see something like a Warzone mode in, mixing the PvE and the PvP up?
Man, that's something that we talked about way early on in the days of the show. Something that would be like something that would take the attention off of each other. You can't be totally focused on the other team when you're getting sniped from some AI. And I think that would be really cool. I don't think we're going to see that in this thing. I've just become a cynic. Like, I don't think we're going to see anything cool just because everything that I've ever said has not come true.
Going on that topic, maybe the iron is referencing like forging something. Maybe they're talking about forge mode.
I love it, Jez. Thank you.
Oh, gosh.
That's what me of before Destiny came out would have said. Continue. Or
What I want to say is I was very, very surprised by them announcing this today and doing it next week, because E3 is in 2 weeks.
Right.
Why on earth would they show it here and not promote it at E3?
I'm hoping E3 teases Destiny 2. Just a small tease. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh, don't get my hopes up that.
I don't think so.
I don't think they would do it.
It's going to release fall of 2017. We should hear about it at this one, and then actually see gameplay at next one.
I could like that. So there's going to be an actual stream on Wednesday.
On June 9th,
On Thursday.
Yeah, it's a week from today.
Okay, so
next Thursday.
Interesting. Man, I'm so glad that this is happening like it is. Next week's show is going to be great. 2 years, and we're going to get some juicy info. Continue.
So, guys, do you guys have any thoughts or perspectives on the image that they had for the headline this week at Bungie?
With the Iron Banner Guardians looking off at the Traveler?
Yeah, well, they're certainly looking down, probably into the city.
See, it looks like they're looking up at the Traveler to me. The Warlock and the Hunter distinctly look like they're looking into the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think that could mean anything?
I think they're looking at the sun. I don't think they're pointed at the Traveler.
It means it's related to Iron Banner.
Yeah, that's probably it too. What were you thinking, Gray?
Well, I was just thinking that we've been speculating a little bit about the Iron Lords and their one of their tenets, their mission is to expand the reach, the realm of the vanguard of the city, and really get out from the walls and claim new land. And as I looked at this image, it just made me kind of think about, you got 3 Guardians all wearing Iron Lord gear. It's Iron Banner gear, but it's Iron Lord gear, looking out beyond the walls. And that's kind of what this set in my mind is. Are we going to be venturing out beyond the walls and claiming new territory?
Well, this is they'd be looking the opposite way though. This is towards the city. They're looking into the city.
We do have that image of the wall being breached though, so possibly we are going to see
wrong wall.
well, yes, but
that's the Cosmodrome wall.
we could be seeing new territory in the Cosmodrome.
I mean, Sharks did mention that before too, because that is the Cosmodrome is like where we were started our game off originally. That's where Pete Parsons was standing at that one time and looked the direction opposite that we walked after we were found by our ghost, saying, "You see all that? You'll be able to explore all that." So
Yeah,
he didn't say time frame. He didn't say at launch. So
No, but I think you guys are reading into the picture a little bit more than what Bungie wanted. I mean, if you really, really look at the picture, they're not looking at the Traveler. They're not looking down, so they're not looking into the city. They're just looking up, and the reason that Bungie took that picture in that angle is because that it showed the
Pretty.
three Guardians in the tower and really, really good view of their Iron Banner gear. But yeah, I mean, this picture and a reveal coming up just proves that leak that came out obviously had some kind of traction. It really is happening, and I can't wait till next Thursday.
You really want to look into it. What are they doing? They're looking forward
This is true.
to the next thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
Are they in regular Iron Banner gear or PlayStation exclusive?
It's
Just-
regular
I'm
Iron
curious.
Banner gear because the hunter cloak is the wolf, not the chain cloak.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious.
So we got like 8 minutes. No, we got like 7 minutes. What else you got for us, Agrios? Agrios is gone.
Oh, yeah, I had that mute button on. I was trying to hurry, but yeah, we talked about our Iron Banner earlier in the show a little bit. They did give us they dropped some stats on us